Worship. It's a thing that many people do no matter how they look. Malaysia is home to many different people of many different cultures who worship in many different ways. So, as a solo female Christian traveler, how did I worship in a country where Islam and Buddhism are king? Well, okay, I am in Malaysia now, and I am finally at a restaurant, and I'm trying to eat some food. Someone recommended me something good, so that's what I'm going to try. But it has been a long journey, and it's not even that far away from Japan. It didn't take me too long being in Penang to realize I was not trusting God. Why? Because I was stressed out already. Even though I was at the JETTIES, which was supposed to be super popular, I didn't see why. I couldn't see this beautiful view, but it was below my expectations, and so it started stressing me out. Why isn't my trip going like it's supposed to be? Then I get to my hostel, and even the hostel that I expected to be wonderful was absolutely horrible. I was cold the whole entire time, and I could hear everything the other guests were saying. Why was I in Penang? After switching hostels and going to a restaurant for my first laksa, I met a wonderful young lady who gave me a recommendation to go to the tropical spice gardens, which I think I liked. I'm trying to figure out why I came to this garden. I'm pretty sure they have animals here. Not just spices, but if I see one animal, oh my god, I hear things and I'm freaking out. I don't like animals. It's absolutely stunning. Wow. I heard something. I have to get out of this place. I just started. Yeah, I'm not going to be here for too long because I don't like insects. The spice gardens weren't too bad, especially when I found that swing. I basically just spent my whole day there taking pictures and walking around by myself. And I guess when you walk around by yourself for more than an hour, you realize you're by yourself. And that's when the feeling of loneliness started to kick right back in. And so, after having dinner, I had to go back and ask God, what should I do next? And that's when he directed me to many tours. The first one was a photography tour. This wonderful fella just took a whole bunch of pictures of me. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Wilson.
Yay.
I'm local. I'm from Georgetown.
I spent Christmas morning getting some unique Christmas pictures shot by Wilson. Then, in the afternoon, God told me to book a tour with a deaf-free, who, while keeping me well fed, of course, gave me an in-depth tour around Penang's most famous attractions, such as the Penang street art. There are a lot of modern-day quirky sides of Georgetown, but it is also rich in history.
Which brings us back to the clan jetties. This time, it was more enjoyable as Jeffrey explained to me how several different Chinese clans came to live in these huts on stilts centuries ago, and how many of these clans still have a strong, influential presence in Penang today. What interested me even more was seeing how there were temples on the jetties, which believers go to even today to pray for good trading, fishing, and overall business and health. For these Buddhist or Taoist believers, there is no separation between work and worship. Which brings us to Harmony Street. Known for its unique blend of cultures and faith, you can find a Hindu shrine, Buddhist temple, Islamic mosque, and Christian church all within a short distance walk. What stood out to me was this tree by the Buddhist temple, which is one of the few trees in the area because it has not been removed because of a belief that there are guardian spirits living there while protecting the area. It amazes me how much impact their respect for their gods have over their way of life, and it even goes into the way they construct their homes. Here we have the famous PERANKAN mansion. Now a museum, it was once the home to one of the richest men in Penang. And it also houses a temple with miniature statue art of the gods which are believed to be watching. Further away from Georgetown, I was taken to Kek Lok Si, the largest Buddhist temple in Malaysia. Although I'm not a Buddhist, I had to admit the design was incredibly beautiful. And it got me thinking, how much more beautiful is heaven going to be? Or better yet, how much more beautiful is nature? The very thing that God created himself, something that wasn't created by human hands. But I do struggle still with not magnifying what man has made.
I am in a mansion.
So I decided to book one night at the popular Blue Mansion because everyone on the internet was hyping it up. Turns out for me, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I hoped. I was hoping I would enjoy the pool, but when I got in, I saw a little sign that said it was not clean, and I had to leave in like 3 hours anyway, so that wasn't happening. And because I checked in late and had to check out early, I was not able to enjoy one of the guided tours around the mansion that was at a discounted price for guests. So I just walked around by myself and looked at all the pretty doors and antique furniture. But how does one spend a solo night at a heritage Malaysian mansion? Well, I'm glad you asked.
I really don't know what this is. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's not fish because they wouldn't just leave like meat out like that. But we're gonna give this a little taste. Not bad, but it ain't good. I don't know what this is. We don't leave that alone.
Staying at the Blue Mansion was not something the Holy Spirit planned, which is why it was a subpar experience. But the next morning, I let the Holy Spirit lead the day and was not disappointed. I had an unplanned experience at Rosanna's batik shop where I did a 1-hour batik painting session with Rosanna, who is quite popular for her designs. This particular shop was actually cheaper than the ones I had found online. I also did a food tour that night, which I booked pretty late, but the guide was very, very helpful in finding me veggie eats, half of which I was too busy eating to record.
Put them in drawers because there's like a lot of it there. I'm not gonna need breakfast.
And the next thing I know, my trip to Penang has come to an end. And although I started this trip from, why am I here? I'm so lonely, I ended it with more confidence that the Holy Spirit was with me and all around me. And unlike the followers of the Buddhist religion that I got to know a little bit those days, I don't have to walk to to a top of a hill to meet my God, and I don't have to burn candles, and I don't have to be scared of destroying the home of my God, because the Holy Spirit has decided to live inside of me, and I worship Him just by being alive. But one thing that Buddhists have unknowingly taught me is that I have to trust Jesus more, and I do not need to care what others think, no matter how crazy what He says to me seems to be. And this is what I kept in mind as I threw away all my plans while going to Kuala Lumpur.
The humidity is getting to your girl's hair.